What's up, YouTube? It's Christmas time, and for me that means snow, Christmas movies by the fire, candy, candy canes, candy corns, syrup, and of course, Bokeh. So today, in honor of the season, we're talking all things Bokeh. What it is, how to achieve it, how to use it, and why Christmas time is the perfect time for Bokeh. Let's get into it. Bokeh, or bokeh, both are technically correct. It's kind of a GIF situation, you choose. Anyway, bokeh comes from the Japanese word bokeh, meaning haze or blur. And bokeh is a term used to describe the way the out-of-focus parts of your shot look. Now, a certain amount of the quality of your bokeh depends on the quality of your lens and camera. But getting great-looking bokeh is more about the way you use depth of field, the position of your subject and your camera, and what's actually in the background of your shot. You can achieve a certain amount of bokeh no matter what lens you're using, but the very best bokeh comes from fast lenses. And by fast, I mean a lens that has a wide aperture, a low f-stop. The wider your aperture, the more shallow your depth of field, and the more smooth and beautifully blurry your bokeh will look. A lens with an aperture of f1.8 or lower is ideal for bokeh, but you're not completely out of luck if you have a lens that's a little bit slower. Now, once you've got your fast lens, you'll want to make sure you're shooting wide open, or at the lowest possible f-stop. Shooting wide open will give you the most shallow depth of field and the best possible bokeh, but it will also let in the most amount of light, which is why shooting at nighttime with Christmas lights is so perfect, because you actually need that extra light to properly expose your subjects. Whereas if you're trying to get shallow depth of field footage on a bright sunny day, you have to make other adjustments using ND filters and other aperture adjustments to get proper exposure. Now, if you're shooting wide open and you're still not getting quite the level of bokeh you're going for, try adjusting the position of your subject and your camera. The farther your subject is from the background and the closer the camera is to the subject, the more blurry and beautiful your bokeh will be. Yes, super shallow bokeh is beautiful and awesome, but if you overuse it, it loses its impact. So your shallow depth of field footage needs to be motivated. And by this, I mean you need to have a reason why you want to shoot shallow. Now, your reason can be a huge number of things depending on what your story calls for. But the most common reason people shoot shallow depth of field, aside from just being really aesthetically pleasing, is to emphasize the subject in the frame. When you're shooting with a wide aperture, the background becomes less distinguishable and the subject pops. And then by being intentional about what's in the background of your shot, you can add a whole new element and produce some really incredible images. Bokeh is most prominent when there's light in the background, which is another reason why Christmas time is perfect for bokeh. A wide aperture makes the lights in the background large and soft, giving your footage a sort of dreamy, ethereal quality. And it works particularly well here because there isn't anything else we really need to see in the background. The shallow depth of field helps create the feeling you get when you're walking around surrounded by Christmas lights. You can play around with bokeh and get some really incredible images, but just be aware that these types of shots are more impactful when you use them sparingly and they're motivated by the story. That's all for this one. Thanks so much for watching and Merry Christmas. I hope you get some great gifts this year and some beautiful bokeh. And hey, if you were planning on getting me something, no need to rush out to the store, just hit that subscribe button. I'm Alex Killian, and I'll see you next time.